As we saw in the last part, the Aka of Central African Republic and Northern Congo are culturally very similar to the Baka. The term Bayaka encompasses both groups. In the 1960s, Sima Arom made a detailed study of their music and suggested that although their singing is perceptually polyphonic, it's actually polyrhythmic in essence. Most spirit dances, or be, need two drums. One constantly repeats this pattern. The other is the lead drum and has a lot more variation depending on the dance. Usually it will have at least part of its cycle where it plays an eighth triplet after the pulse. This is the secret. The music won't work without everyone working together. The African standard pattern would often be played, although not always. Sometimes it's extended, sometimes they miss beats out, but it would always fit. And listen to the Mbouamboua there calling from the forest. He won't come out until the music and singing is good enough. It's thought that traditionally the Baka would use log drums, but they'll use whatever they can get. Cooking pots, plastic water containers, anything that they can get a good sound out of. In 1992, we never saw them with a real drum. At the start of the evening, it'll be a relaxed affair, with lots of stops and starts. Kisliak refers to these lulls that at first made her doubt the performer's competence until she realised how the performance and social moments were so integrated. There is no performer or audience, everyone participates. Drumming, singing, clapping, dancing. People don't go to listen to music, they make music together. The sounds we make affect the forest. The Baka have learnt from experience that when bad noises come into the forest, chainsaws, noisy shouting people, arguments, then it's harder to find food. They strongly believe that bad sounds disturb the forest and it stops providing. Good sounds make it happy and open so it will provide food freely. So how do you make the forest happy? With song and dance, of course. Many researchers refer to Baka spirit dances, of which this Mbouamboua dance, called Mbouamboua by Tsuru, is one of many. Lewis prefers to call them spirit play. It's through play that children learn how to take part in these events, called Be by the Baka. Be encompasses both song and dance, and often theatre as well. The children will often make up their own Be. The underlying rhythmic structure of the Be is the same for both Aka and Baka, and they share the same stock of basic rhythms that are combined in a variety of ways. These enable great variation and creativity while maintaining an underlying conformity. When the singing stops and rhythmic chanting takes over, this is what Michel Kislyak calls the esime. It's an important part as far as the energy of the evening goes. It gives both the dancers and the drummers a chance to show what they can do. The level of excitement is rising. You can hear the Mbouamboua spirit who's been called out of the forest and is dancing amongst the people. Children are constantly honing their musical abilities by using their listening skills to learn the rhythms and melodies needed to join the polyphony without any explicit instruction. Imitation is actively encouraged with praise, so all learn to participate without any judgment of their abilities. Explicit intergenerational teaching is rare, although it does happen during initiation. During my initiation into Mbouamboua, I was only taught certain steps and how to move when I needed to rest in order to give the impression that I was still dancing. The rest was left to my own imagination. That was Mbouamboua telling everyone to take it easy. Now the energy levels have risen and Mbouamboua's dancing in the camp, a new song's instigated very quickly. Interestingly, this song is a Locarno, one of the fable songs. I'd noticed that sometimes the same songs appear in different be, so I asked Pellenbeer about it.
With music like the Mbouamboua or the Bouma, you have to follow the drums to make the music flow. It is better to sing songs that we all know, men, women and children. If we sing with the drums, it will make a good sound. You don't sing for yourself. The music is for everyone. We sing as one and it will go right. It's good.
The act of playing music has a very practical purpose: to generate joy, which opens the forest so it gives freely. Rouget coined the term musique, or to music, to describe this intense practice of music and dance, where to music is a verb meaning the act of playing music. For the Baka, it's the act of making be. And it's more than just the music. Good sounds include laughter, and particularly children's laughter. Anyone who's visited a Baka hunting camp will attest to the joyous atmosphere and the amount of laughter. There is a huge importance in the feel-good factor in Baka musicking, with laughter an integral part of the soundscape. Finnegan pointed out that many researchers ignored this laughter in their accounts. She makes the connection with Bakhtin's analysis of Rabelais' 16th century writings, where he refers to the culture of laughter that comes from the medieval carnival spirit. Bakhtin argues that the communal laughter of that bawdy, dancing body of carnival was highly threatening to the emerging hierarchy at the end of the Middle Ages, but that in the 17th century its power was diminished by converting its bawdy humour into something base and vulgar. Mbouamboua is one of many Baka spirits, or me as they call them. The basic structure of the spirit play mirrors the gendered division of labour. Men call the spirit out of the forest and prepare it to dance in a secret area, while the women entice it out from there by beautiful singing and seductive dancing so that all can enjoy the euphoria. Just as the men bring meat to camp and the women make it beautiful and tasty. There is no Baka word for just music. The word be encompasses music, dance and the rhythm, and sometimes the theatre that joins it as well. It becomes a technology of enchantment, producing a mystified sense of delight and wonder, creating an uplifting and joyful atmosphere. People, animals and the forest all feel this. It does this by attracting me from the forest. In part 3 we'll learn about the women's yeli singing, and how in a forest you learn to listen, and how this hones your musical skills, enabling you to communicate with the forest.